Welcome to Commanders Daily, everybody. I'm Bob Matthews. This is your one-stop shop for everything going on with the Burgundy and Gold. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss an episode of it. Okay, we are into that time of the year when here on Commanders Daily, we are going to be doing a lot of cutting through the bowl and trying to get you the straight dope, or at least the honest dope, as we see it, and kind of let you not have to freak out about things that you hear in the echo chamber and some of the things that you hear online. Because remember, now that everybody has gone their separate ways until training camp, I'm not going to say there's not a lot to talk about, but hey, you're going to be getting a lot of somebody comes up with a scenario on one thing, somebody else runs with it, and then all of a sudden you've got rumors that Aaron Rodgers is going to, get signed, get traded to Washington. I'm kidding, obviously. But a lot of, at least the first two things we're going to talk about here are exactly that. Trey Hendrickson, that news about him popped up over the weekend, and if you were looking for the Commanders to do any kind of a blockbuster deal to get Trey Hendrickson, I don't think it's going to happen because ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reporting that Hendrickson and the Bengals are now talking about a contract extension again. Hendrickson wasn't at Bengals mandatory minicamp, much like Terry McLaurin wasn't at Commanders minicamp. Now the two sides are talking about a long-term contract extension. And again, this one has been a hell of a lot more contentious than Terry's has. One of the reasons I think that this one probably gets done in Cincy, but, the good news for Commanders fans is it's going to get done for McLaurin as well before it's all said and done. Hendrickson's 29 years old. I know he would be, statistically, he'd be a great addition to the Commanders' defense. 17 and a half sacks the last two seasons. He's 29 years old. He probably wants a 5 or 6 year deal. And he's going to get that from the Bengals before it's said and done because, quite frankly, the Bengals can't afford to let him go. I mean, that defense was god-awful as it was. Without Hendrickson, they were really in a world of hurt. Remember, Joe Burrow had MVP numbers last year, but they couldn't stop anybody. Henceforth, 9-8, and they missed the playoffs. As cheap as the Bengals are, they will find a way to keep Trey Hendrickson. But hey, Commanders have gone other ways. They kind of knew that this was coming, that this wasn't realistic. That's why they loaded up on the interior of the defensive line. We'll get to the defensive line in just a second. Do want to talk stadium update, though, because we have had a little bit of movement on this. Now, first thing I want to say on this one, again, do not buy the hype that you read at most of the aggregate sites that you're seeing. I would very much encourage you either go to the Washington Post's website or NBC4's website. NBC4, read Mark Seagrave. Read Mark Seagrave on at NBC4 and or watch his reports. Okay, he has been doing an outstanding job of covering this, and he was the guy that actually got kicked out of that closed door meeting a couple of weeks ago. The council has. What Seagraves is saying, I heard him today, is that a lot of what's going on now is politics. Okay. Phil Mendelson, the head of the chairman of the D.C. Council, who kind of runs all of the budget talks, he needs some sort of a political win on this. And what Seagraves is saying is that a lot of what you saw in the stadium negotiations when the Nationals built Nationals Park is what you're seeing here. He thinks what's going to happen is, Mendelson says the bill needs to be tweaked. It's not that he's opposed to the stadium now, it's just that things need to be tweaked. They're going to tweak it on the margins. What they're going to do is they are going to do things like maybe enhance the community projects that are going to be there, more green space, more programs for the kids in the neighborhood, things like that. Things to where Mendelson can come out at the end of the day and say, I took this bill and I made it better. He's up for re-election soon, so is Mayor Bowser, so they're going to come to an agreement on this. What could possibly complicate it, but I don't think that it is if there is a delay in getting this approved into the fall. That could push things like construction costs, because we never know what's going on with tariffs, higher. That would be problematic. But even if it doesn't get done on July 15th, if it gets done, say, sometime in August, everything is going to be fine. And I think the Commanders, because of the fact we're talking a $4 billion project, they'll give the city a little bit of leeway on it. So, all in all, and again, this is Seagraves talking, he thinks, and he has covered a lot of these things, that everything is still on track. You want a new RFK Stadium in 2030, you're going to get a new RFK Stadium in 2030. Again, don't buy the hype that you see at a lot of the aggregator sites. Go and get it straight from the horse's mouth. That's what we do here. That's what I want all of you guys to do as well. We're going to be taking a look at some of the positional groupings here as now that we're done with minicamp. And I want to focus, since we were just talking about it a few seconds ago, on the defensive line, which is still a little bit in flux, but I think you can see how Adam Peters and Dan Quinn and everybody have kind of addressed the shortcomings that they have had last year. I don't know that anybody will say they hit a home run with what they're doing, but instead of going out and trying to overpay for somebody like Trey Hendrickson or a couple of the guys that were there on the free agent market, or, take a flyer on somebody and overpay on somebody that, could have gone either way. What you saw is they loaded up on the interior of the defensive line. Remember, they signed Javon Kinlaw and Eddie Goldman, along with re-signing Sheldon Day and Jalen Holmes. It really appears like they did sign Dietrich Wise, a veteran defensive end. It's not going to, he's not drawing double coverage from anybody. I think what it looks like they're trying to do is they're going to focus on trying to stop the run, because that was the weakest part of the defense. I think they figure if they can improve their run defense, they can scheme up pass rushing. Frankie Louvu, they can bring him. They can bring some of the guys, from the defensive backfield. And the fact that they've improved the secondary, or at least think they've improved the secondary, will lead you to believe that, again, improved coverage there will mean more chances to generate pressure, because guys will be covered longer. That's where things look like they stand right now. Whether it manifests itself or not, we will see, starting in less than 100 days. Finally, again, thank you so much to everybody that has recently subscribed. We really appreciate it. I'm loving all the positive comments that you guys are leaving, and you know what? And the critical comments as well. Absolutely fine with that. If you want to talk about anything that we have mentioned here today or in past shows, please drop us a comment in there. We would love to read some of them here on the air. So don't forget, like and subscribe. Keep listening. I know we're into the grind part of the offseason, but before you know it, we are going to be talking about training camp less than 5 weeks away. That's going to do it for us today. See you again tomorrow. Remember, like the wise man once said, if you're out on your bike tonight, as always, do wear white.